Hi guys, it's Jason from Iowa City Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and today we're going to talk about one of the most fundamental movements in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu that you need to master, called the shrimp. And we call it the shrimp because shrimp swim backwards through the water. They fold themselves in half, pushing their butt in front in the direction that they're going first instead of their head when they're swimming fast. So the movement that we're about to do sort of imitates that movement, but it's also technically known as the hip escape. Now, this is a way of getting out from underneath somebody when you can't just get up because there's too much weight on you. So you find ways of making a little bit of space and you sort of technically wiggle out. But the first way that I like to teach it at the most basic level is what I call the circle shrimp, okay? The circle shrimp, we're just gonna practice getting good on one side. And when we get good on one side, we'll switch to the other side. So it should look something like this. I'm gonna lay on my side, or on my back first, and then turn onto my side. I bring my feet in close to me, and I need to have really sticky feet. I don't want my feet to slip here. I'm gonna pick my hips up ever so slightly off the ground so I don't have a lot of friction when I move them. And I'm gonna push my hips backwards. Just keep spinning myself in a circle. Pivoting on my shoulder and propelling myself or pushing myself with my legs. I'm gonna keep my arms in. I don't want my elbows flaring out and my arms all over the place. It's a bad jiu-jitsu habit to get into. So I'm gonna stay tight, like I'm protecting myself, like I'm trapped inside of a shell or something like that. So I'm just gonna push myself, extending my legs till they're almost straight. I'm gonna bring my legs back into my body, re-cock my feet, so to speak, and push again. And I'm gonna keep pushing over and over again in a circle, pivoting on my shoulder, going all the way around, picking my hips up ever so slightly to push them, okay? So we're just gonna be spinning in a circle. And as I get better, I'll go faster, but once I have this side mastered, I'm gonna switch and do the other side, okay? So I'm on my other side now, go through the checklist. I'm sort of in the fetal position. My arms are in, my hands are near my face. I'm on my shoulder. Bring my feet in and dig in with your toes and the balls of your feet. And remember, shrimp are swimming backwards, so you're moving your hip backwards. Circle shrimp, circle shrimp, circle shrimp. Okay? Pick your hips up ever so slightly so you're not dragging. If you leave your hips on the ground, there's lots of friction there. You're gonna get tired more quickly. The common mistake she'll make there in the beginning may be to try to push your shoulder in a straight line, okay? Difficult to do. You want to pivot on your shoulder. Okay? Pick your hips up, okay, and it'll give you better traction as well, okay? So you remove the friction off your hip and you give better traction to your feet, because that's another mistake people make. They let their feet slip as they're trying to push themselves, okay? You really gotta lift your hips up a little bit, which will help give you better traction as well as make it easier to move your hip. Elbows flaring out, mistake. Don't let your elbows flare out. Don't be moving around like this, okay? Keep your elbows in and your hands near your face. Floppy fish. Floppy fish is going in the wrong direction in the circle. You should be pushing your butt backwards, but the floppy fish pulls the belly forward, okay? Everything else could be right, but I'm going in the wrong direction. I need to be going backwards. Okay? Once I can do that on both sides, then I can move on to the level 2 linear shrimp, which is with 2 feet. The linear shrimp involves us switching sides more quickly. Okay, we're just gonna do one side, then the other side. Okay? I'm gonna turn onto my side. I'm gonna do my first shrimp. So I push. Now instead of pushing again, I'm gonna straighten out my back Turn to the other side and bring my feet in. Push again. Straighten out my back. Turn to the other side. As I'm bringing my feet in, push again. And yes, I'm using 2 feet when I push, okay? When you're first learning, just use 2 feet. It's easier that way. Here, bring my feet in, turn to my side. I lift my hips up a little bit, and I push, okay? So let's look at it from a different angle here. I turn on my side, I'm gonna use both feet. So I have my pinky toes here, but also the ball of my foot here. I lift my hips up a little bit, and I push. Straighten myself out. I go to my other side as I'm bringing my legs in. Turn to the other side, lift my hips up, push. Pivoting on that shoulder, not pushing it, okay? 2 feet. So with 2 feet, we still have some of the same problems we could encounter. The person could be trying to push the shoulder instead of pivot. Their elbows could be flaring out. They could not have good traction with their feet. And now we have a problem here is that they could be wiggle walking. Okay, if they haven't really truly mastered level 1, they may be doing the wiggle walk. Okay? And like I said, there's a time and a place for a wiggle walk in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu escapes, but this isn't the time and the place, okay? So we don't want to do that. The reason why it's happening, they're not turning all the way on their side. Okay. You be here, you turn on your side, so only one shoulder is in contact with the ground, the other one's not, okay? Hard to wiggle walk now with using both of my shoulders. It's much easier to shrimp, okay? When we can do level 2 without making any mistakes, we're ready to move on to level 3, which is the one-footed linear shrimp escape. Both of my feet are up. I'm gonna straighten out. I'm gonna straighten out one leg and lay it flat. Whatever leg I lay flat, I turn towards. I use the other foot to lift my hips up just a little bit, and I have to push with just one leg now. Dragging my other leg as if it were dead behind me, okay? Like it didn't function. Bring my knee into my chest and point it up to the sky, and I begin to turn to the other side. This leg's gonna go flat now as I turn away and turn towards the leg that's laying flat. Use my other leg here, lift my hips up a little bit, push. My legs are basically straight. Okay, I'm going to straighten out, turn to the other side, and escape. Okay? Remember, mistakes here are to, we still have, people may try to drive their shoulder, push their shoulder instead of pivot on it, lose traction because they're only using one foot or they're using the wrong foot, elbows flare, you don't get too many people doing it the wrong way because it's a lot more challenging to do a floppy fish type. Turning away from the straight leg. So I straighten my leg and I turn away from it. This is wrong to have this leg bent. I should switch my leg. So I should straighten my leg and turn towards it and drag it as I hip escape out, as I shrimp and switch.